Newsday from the BBC World Service. You remember, Kem, that I attended the African Development Bank meetings in Kigali?
Yes.
One of the things that I learned from there was that production in China has become incredibly more expensive.
Absolutely.
And this is something that we've talked about quite a bit.
Which is something which I always feel that Africans can capitalize on.
Now, there's something like that taking place at the moment. A comparable salary, for instance, of an Ethiopian factory worker is a quarter of that of the Chinese garment makers. And that's a point that traders from Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Kenya are keen to exploit. The three countries are attending what is being billed as the US's largest apparel trade fair. Addis Alemayehou is a spokesperson for Ethiopia at the fair, and he joins us now from Las Vegas. Welcome to Newsday, Addis.
Thank you for having me.
Let's just kick off by you giving me a sense of what on earth you're doing in that part of the world. Why are you attending the fair? Why is it important?
Essentially, it's critically important for us as a country as well as a continent to be here to present Africa as an alternative sourcing destination for U.S. retailers. So if you're serious about breaking into the U.S. market in apparel and shoes, this is the show that you have to be present in. It's mandatory. To give you an example of the case, the Chinese have 1,900 booths at the show, and I think the Africans as a total have maybe about 12.
Wow, that's huge. That's incredible.
That's a huge uphill battle that we need to fight, and you got to start the journey somewhere.
Yeah, when I was in Kigali again for the African Development Bank meetings, I met a lady called Helen. I think she's Chinese, and she makes shoes in Ethiopia, which she then sells to Europe as designer shoes.
Yes, she makes shoes in Ethiopia.
And so there is a lot of foreign direct investment coming into Ethiopia to help develop the manufacturing sector, isn't there?
I think Ethiopia has been one of the pioneers in this regard. The government set out a strategy some 10 years back in regards to realizing that China is going to get expensive sooner or later, and that we need to start doing the homework very much early in terms of getting the country prepared. It's not, you can't do this in a day or a year. It takes a lot of planning, a lot of policy, and a lot of hard investment in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of training of workers, and then going out and trying to secure the investment that's needed to move the country forward.
And I imagine that in Ethiopia's case as well, there's the added fact that it's actually a landlocked country. Yes,
be it that, that is our biggest challenge. But I think, there's countries like Uganda and Rwanda and so forth that are, more or less trying to do the same. I think in the Ethiopian case, the difference is the huge population that we have, a huge labor force. So, just to give an example, something like 22 million people within the education system. We have something like 52% of the population under the age of 15. So you can imagine the labor force that's coming into being a productive labor force. So given that, and the fact that we have, I think, some of the cheapest power on the continent, if not the world, and then the amount of investment that's going on in terms of railway and road and power and telecom on the ground is getting noticed in regards to the country that you need to start knocking doors, and the country that you need to start visiting.
Okay, so we've run out of time, but how much have you sealed in terms of deals?
I anticipate we'll do close to 5 million, if not more, on this trip alone.
Not bad. I'm